5 mistakes. That's all it takes to add 10 years to a face, and I'd bet money you're making at least 2 of them before you finished your coffee. Mistake number 5 is the setting powder you've been loyal to since the 90s. Mistake number 3 is the one that makes me want to reach through the screen, because it's the reason your foundation looks cakey by noon, no matter which one you buy. And mistake number 1 is so common that I've corrected it on Oscar winners in a trailer 20 minutes before call time. But we're doing the good news first. 7 products ranked that Hollywood makeup artists actually use on mature skin, and the one sitting at number 1 changes color the second it touches your face. But we're counting down, so you'll have to sit through 6 other things I love before we get to it. Number 7, a damp cosmetic sponge, and I mean genuinely damp, wrung out like a washcloth. Nearly every woman I know over 50 owns one and uses it wrong. She dunks it in the bathroom sink, squeezes it halfway, then drags it across her cheek like she's wiping down a counter. That dragging is what pulls foundation into the fine lines around the mouth and leaves streaky patches along the jaw. The professional motion is a press and a roll. You press product into the skin, you don't sweep it over the top. It takes 90 seconds longer than what you're doing now, and the payoff is a base that looks like it's coming from underneath the skin. Number 6, a hydrating primer, or better still, 3 drops of a lightweight face oil pressed in before anything else touches you. Mature skin gets thirsty in a way that 30-year-old skin does not, and thirsty skin is grabby skin. It grabs foundation in uneven patches, clings to the dry spots around the nose, and then you're at your bathroom mirror wondering why the same product looked flawless in the store. In my kit, there's a bottle of oil I warm between my palms and press in. Then I wait. 2 full minutes while I do brows or find a lip. That wait is the part everybody skips, and it's the difference between a base that melts in and one that pills up the moment you touch it. Number 5, a cream blush in a warm rose or a soft berry, in a pot or a stick, never a powder. Powder blush sits in the texture on mature skin, catches on every fine line across the cheekbone, and goes chalky by lunch. A cream sinks in and gives you that flushed, warmed-up look that reads as youth on camera. Now, placement, and this is where I lose people. Everything migrates south as we age, so the blush that lived on the apple of your cheek at 30 needs to move up and back toward the temple along the top of the cheekbone. I place it high and blend toward the hairline. That one change lifts the whole face without a needle or a laser. Number 4, a cream bronzer stick used as a warmer rather than a contour. Hear the difference because it matters. That hard brown stripe carved under the cheekbone makes mature skin look hollow and tired, especially in daylight. What I do instead is take a warm cream bronzer along the top of the forehead, across the temples, over the cheekbones, down the bridge of the nose, wherever the sun would hit you. It puts blood back into a face gone flat and washed out. On a client in her 50s, I go in before blush, and the two together are what make people ask if she's been on vacation. Cream over cream stays put, powder over cream separates every time. Number 3, a brow pencil, 1 shade lighter than you think you need. Brows thin after 50. It's hormonal, it's decades of tweezing, and it is quietly the most aging thing on the face. But the usual fix makes it worse. She goes darker, draws a hard line, and now 2 severe commas sit above her eyes, dragging the whole expression down. In the trailer, I use a fine pencil in a soft taupe, and I draw hairs. Little upward flicks that follow the direction the hair actually grows, with the tail lifted slightly above where it naturally ends. Then a clear gel to hold it. A lifted brow does more for tired eyes than any cream on your bathroom shelf. Number 2, a peach or apricot toned color corrector for the under eye area, and only a whisper of it, not a concealer, a corrector. This is basic color theory, the kind every makeup artist learns in the first week of school. The darkness under mature eyes reads blue and purple, because the skin there has thinned and the vessels underneath show through. Layer a pale concealer over blue, and you get gray. Ashy, dead, and it announces itself across a room. Peach cancels blue. So I press a small amount of peach into the inner corner and along the deepest part of the shadow, let it sit, then go over it with the sheerest possible layer of whatever's next. Under a key light, that single step takes years off, and I've never had a client watch me do it and not ask what it was. And number 1, the Luxe Color Changing Foundation. I want to be clear about why this sits at the top of my kit and not somewhere in the middle. Every woman over 50 has the same foundation story. She finds a shade that looks correct at the department store counter, gets it home, and by 3 in the afternoon, it has gone orange on her. That's oxidation. The pigments react with the oils in your skin and with the air, and mature skin produces different oil than it did 20 years ago, which is precisely why the foundation you were faithful to in your 40s eventually turned on you. Then there's the mask line at the jaw, where the shade stops matching your neck. Luxe solves that from the other direction. The formula goes on as a pale, neutral cream, and the color-changing pigments activate against your own skin tone and your own chemistry. Whatever your undertone is, that is what it becomes. There's no shade matching under fluorescent lights at a beauty counter, nothing goes orange on you at 3 in the afternoon, and there is no demarcation line sitting at your jaw. The second thing, and after 50 this matters more, is the texture. It's a lightweight, adaptive formula that sits in the skin rather than on top of it. Traditional full-coverage bases are built on heavy fillers, and fillers travel. They find the fine lines around your eyes and the smile lines around your mouth. They settle in, and by noon you look like you have more lines than you actually have. Luxe doesn't do that. You get believable coverage that still lets skin look like skin. Evened out, luminous, and unmistakably yours. This is the your skin. But better base women have been chasing at every beauty counter in the country for 30 years, and it's what I hand a client when she says, "Just make me look like myself on a good day." I press it in with the damp sponge from number 7 over the oil from number 6, and I use about half as much as you would think. And I'm clearly not the only one who noticed, because it is the #1 selling foundation on Amazon right now. The link is in the description below, or scan the code on your screen. Now the 5 mistakes, counting down. Mistake number 5, the setting powder you've been loyal to since the 1990s. I know the one. Big jar, translucent, and you've been dusting your whole face with it since Friends was still on the air. 2 problems: loose powder flattens every bit of natural light your face bounces back, and it settles into texture the way sand settles into a crack in the pavement. Powder the T-zone if you run oily, the center of the forehead, the sides of the nose, a little on the chin. That's it. Leave the cheeks alone. And if there's a photo of you where your face is ghostly white under a flash, that's flashback from light-reflecting particles in the powder, and it is doing you no favors at weddings. Mistake number 4, testing foundation on the back of your hand and still wearing the shade you were matched to a decade ago. The skin on your hand is nothing like the skin on your face. Different tone, different texture, useless as a test strip. Swipe it on the jaw, walk to a window, look at it in daylight, and your face is not the color it was 10 years ago. Skin loses pigment as we age, and the beige you wore at 42 is very likely too dark and too yellow for you now. A color-changing formula takes that guesswork away entirely, which is exactly why it sits at #1 on my list. And if you're staying in a traditional base, at the very least, go and get rematched. In daylight. On the jaw. Mistake number 3. This is the one that makes me want to reach through the screen. You are putting foundation on unprepped, thirsty skin and then blaming the foundation. Every time a woman tells me her base goes cakey by noon, no matter which one she buys, this is what's happening. Dehydrated skin drinks the water out of the product, and what's left is pigment and filler with nothing to sit in. That's the cakey, sitting on top look, and it will happen to any base you put on top of a thirsty face. Give the skin what it's asking for first, then let an adaptive formula do the rest of the work. Moisturize. Wait. Prime or press in an oil. Wait again. On set, I will not put base on a face until the skin has had 10 minutes to drink what I gave it, and that is not me being precious. That is the entire trick. Mistake number 2. Frost and shimmer everywhere. Frosted eyeshadow on a crepey lid, a hard highlighter striped down the cheekbone, a glittery gloss on a lip that has lost some of its border. I understand the impulse because glow reads as youth. But shimmer is reflective particles, and reflective particles magnify whatever texture sits underneath them. On a lid with any looseness at all, frost finds every crease and settles in. What you want is satin. It gives you the light without the sparkle, and it's the easiest swap on this list. Matte on the lid, satin on the cheek, cream on the lip. If you want to highlight, put a trace on the very top of the cheekbone and nowhere else. And mistake number 1. The one I've fixed on Oscar winners in a trailer 20 minutes before call time. Too much concealer under the eye in a shade far too light, packed on and then baked into place with powder. I know why it happens. You see darkness, you want it gone, so you keep building. But heavy concealer under a mature eye does the opposite of what you want. It sits in the crepey skin, It creases inside an hour, and that bright white triangle everybody was drawing a few years ago is brutal on a face over 50. It reads as a mask, and it walks the eye straight to the very thing you were trying to hide, so less. Peach corrector first, from number 2 on this list, then the smallest amount of concealer, one shade lighter than your base at the absolute most, patted in with a warm ring finger and nothing else. Half of what you're using now will look like twice the result. 30 years in this business, and nobody who has ever sat in my chair needed more makeup. They needed better prep, a lighter hand, and a base that works with the skin they have now instead of the skin they had in 1998. Start with the foundation, because it lives underneath everything else. If it's oxidizing on you, creasing on you, or leaving you to guess at your own neck, nothing you layer over the top will save it. Luxe color-changing foundation is linked in the description below, and there's a code on your screen you can scan right now if that's easier. Move your blush up and back, try the peach corrector, and keep powder off your cheeks for 1 week. Then take a photo in daylight and look at it properly. I think you'll see it. I'll see you in the next one.